Oh, I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Any real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here this evening as we get ready to check out the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club as they get ready to take on the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway. As always, joined in the booth tonight by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I'll tell you what here, Bizzle, this one's going to be interesting. Just getting the word from Race Control. Stage 1 will be the scheduled caution tonight. Stage 2 will not have a caution. Darlington is always tough, but you start thinking about crazy long tire stints, that makes my stomach churn, and I'm not even going to be sitting in the cockpit.
Yeah, Darlington is an incredibly abrasive surface. On top of that, the turns are tight. They're banked, but there's not a huge ton of room to swing the car around in. So you're going to be scrubbing a ton of rubber off these things, and we're going to be asking the drivers to push them, what, 50, 60 laps? That's unheard of.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal on these drivers here this evening, and there's really no other way to say it. Let's take a look at what we got coming up here in tonight's race for you. As always, 1.366 miles, the egg-shaped oval, 23 to 25 degrees of banking, depending on which end of the racetrack you're sitting in. A track that just about predates the NASCAR sanctioning body as an organization. The first super speedway opening in 1950. This is round number 5 of the Sim Racers Club Championship. 125 laps is the scheduled distance tonight. Cautions are called by iRacing. Stages at laps 25 and 60. Unlimited attempts at the overtime. But the big one there is you're going to be able to run 25 laps and then potentially have to make another pit stop to get you the rest of the way. It sounds like a 2-stop strategy is absolutely going to be in the cards tonight. But we'll see who decides how they want to make those stops. You could theoretically make it on one stop. We're hearing anywhere from 70 to 75 laps. Maybe you don't stop at the stage break. That'll get you a little bit of track position. But the tire wear, as you see there on the screen, tire wear is ugly, and there is no other way to say it. The biggest concern these drivers are going to have all night, Patrick, how do you make the tires last? And what strategy can you possibly run to have the freshest rubber when you need it at the end of the race?
I would say don't take the pit stop in that first caution. You know you're getting a caution on lap 25 or so. Don't take the tires. Save them for later on. If you can survive the first part of this race, not go that lap down, you'll be fairly set for the end. And then if we go into overtime or have a late caution, you'll have an extra set of tires in the box. You won't be the fastest car on track doing this. You won't be setting hot laps, but it might just be enough to get you the checkered flag.
Yeah, and it's a strategy that you're going to have to commit to from very early on in the race. Taking a look at the championship point standings heading into tonight's racing action, Johnny Avila is your points leader, sitting on 225 points. Kevin Dick currently second in points. Tyler Seville, Roger Rios, and Andrew Moore rounding out your top five. Already a 35-point gap here for Johnny Avila. He's coming off back-to-back wins. Would it be a surprise to see him pick up another one here tonight, Patrick?
No, he's been very good all season. He was very good last season, and Darlington is a tough track, and the best drivers come out here to really show what they've got.
Yeah, he already.
I believe he even said last week his two favorite tracks were Dover and Darlington. So,
yeah,
for the other competitors.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like these guys could be in a little bit of trouble here. Let's take you side by side, and we'll show you who is going to be where in qualifications here this evening. Johnny Avila on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side, the 77 of Andrew Moore. And again, this is individual qualifications, so drivers will be able to take to the racetrack on their own, but at the same time. Saves a little bit of time in how the show runs here. Lap number one going to come up on the board for Johnny Avila here in just a moment, working his way through turns 3 and 4. You talked about it here, Patrick. You got to be up on the outside. There's almost no place to hide here at Darlington.
Yeah, these aren't the open wheel cars that we saw, I believe, last year in the Dallara Extreme Series, where they could run this whole track, make this track super wide. These are stock cars. It may look like there's 3 grooves of track above that white line, and you're allowed to run lower than that. But don't let that fool you. Only against the wall is where it's fast.
Andrew Moore, 3/100ths of a second quicker than Johnny Avila. How about those lap times? 29.638 to 29.673. Kevin Dick, Tyler Seville, Corey Silva complete the top 5. Max Williams going to jump up to 3rd as Johnny Avila goes new quick time, 29.493 seconds. He is completing his qualification run. Let's pick up Mike McConville. Check out the paint job on this car. Not just because it has our name on the side of it, but an absolutely epic bit of Star Wars branding here for the new film coming out in, I guess, what, Friday is release day for the new Star Wars movie?
You know, as a huge Star Wars fan, I should know that. However, I haven't watched any of the new ones. I watched Episode 7, but I'm disappointed in myself that I don't know when it's coming out.
You know more than I do, brother.
I will say, though, that scheme is incredible, but my favorite Star Wars scheme was the one for Episode 1, Phantom Menace, when that came out on Jeff Gordon's car with Jar Jar Binks on the side and Darth Maul. That was a cool car.
Seeing the 92 of Evan Black getting up into the fence a little bit here. He'll be on timing and scoring as the number 20, but he'll be carrying the 92 colors here this evening as McConville finishes up his run. Going to be 10th quick, 30.19 seconds, the lap time of record. Picking up Roger Rios here, and let's...
Well, that guy's name might have been Roger Rios.
Yeah, I was going to say. We're trying to get the onboard queued up here.
Of the race car, not a guy in the stands.
That is correct.
Maybe he's skipping qualifying. Maybe that was him. He's hanging out in the stands, watching what everyone's doing. He's going to sit out for a bit. And
no, he's very much on the racetrack right now, and he's going to be ninth quick at a 29.814 lap time for Roger Rios. There we go. Now we got the onboard look here. This place has a whole lot of banking to it. The walls sneak up on you. The surface is a little bit bumpy. This place is not the friendliest for some of these guys to drive here. Pick up Ryan Nicoletta as he as well. Looks like he will be finishing his qualification run there in the 59. Still have a handful of drivers that have not been out onto the racetrack yet, including Scotty Grove, Daniel Pinkston, Tim Knott, Rick Javorka, Corbin Simmons, and Tony Patton. Still about 5 minutes left, so a lot of time for these guys to get the runs in. Pick up A.J. Digby here in the number 14. Custom paints and die casts on the side of that machine. At this point, Digby just continuing to turn laps here, although, pretty big hit there into the outside safer barrier. That will spell an end to the run here for A.J. Digby. That's going to be really one of the big challenges, I would imagine here, Patrick, is we've seen, especially that kind of pancake style hit, these next-gen cars are not real fond of that style of contact. And just about everybody is going to do it tonight, picking up a Darlington stripe.
yeah, they don't like it at all because not only are you damaging the front suspension, it being an independent front suspension as we've had since the late 1940s, but you have an independent rear suspension too. So if you pancake it, you're bending control arms on the front and rear. You're bending tie rods, front and I'm not sure if they're using tie rods on the rear as there's no steering, but they might use some sort of similar linkage to hold the wheel straight. And a bunch of other stuff back there. It's really going to make these cars miserable to drive at the end if you do pick yourself up a Darlington stripe.
That's something that we've seen in the real world. A lot of these drivers dealing with toe links that are either bending and then failing or just outright breaking. It does not take a lot of contact to put these things behind the wall for, quite frankly, a large portion of the race. So down to 2 minutes, 45 seconds in the qualification session. Same 6 drivers still waiting it out. They are not yet moving out onto the racetrack. Total of 21 cars on the entry list here tonight. And how about it? Roger Rios moving to the top of the board, 29.484. 1/100th of a second. In fact, judging, I can do quick math here. How about 9 thousandths of a second separating Roger Rios from Johnny Avila? That was an impressive run there. Let's see if we have Roger available to talk to here. All right, let's bring in the guy who looks like he will be our pole sitter here this evening, Mr. Roger Rios. And I'll tell you what, bud, the lap was fantastic, having looks like about 9 thousandths over Johnny Avila at the end of qualifying. Congratulations. That was a hell of a lap, bud.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I pulled that one out somehow. It was faster than I ran in practice.
Yeah, it's one of those that it sort of feels like you want to be at the front. Obviously, you need the track position, but how difficult tonight is it going to be to manage not only the tires that you're starting the race on, but knowing that you've only got 2 sets in the box?
I think the thing here is going to be take care of that right front, but I'm not sure how well I'll do with that. I'm not the greatest at tire management.
All right, bud. Well, good luck tonight. Hopefully, we're talking to you a little bit later here in Victory Lane.
Thank you.
There you go. There's Roger Rios, a guy who looks like he will be our pole sitter here this evening. Seeing the comment already coming in from Twisted Mister, one of our guys in the race here, getting me the DM here on Discord, saying skipping Q to try and start from the back. That's pretty much one of these strategies, I guess you could say, is going to come into play here.
Yeah, however, starting at the back here might not be the best option just because it's so difficult to pass. You pass here very similar to how you do at a dirt track, where you kind of got to cut down low and either get in front of them before the mid corner where everyone really gets real close to that wall, kind of like a slide job. Or you got to get such a huge run coming off of turn 2 or turn 4 that you can pass them before you get into the corner. It is incredibly difficult to pass. If you've got the skill to qualify, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't.
Well, it's an interesting call there. Also seeing Mike McConville commenting on Twitch here. I bonked the wall lap 1. Also, did he say Jar Jar is his favorite?
No, Darth Maul is my favorite, but I love Jar Jar's stupid face right on the quarter panel of that car. I'm a fan of Jeff Gordon, but if I saw Jar Jar on the back of that thing, I might have wrecked him if I was racing in NASCAR when that car came out. Just to smash Jar Jar's face in. Nothing against anyone who likes Jar Jar, I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness. I don't even have a clue what the hell you're talking about. Let's take a look here at the starting grid for tonight's race, and lining up on the pole will be Mr. Roger Rios, and lining up to his outside, 9 thousandths of a second separating these two. This could be a hell of a drag race to turn 1. It's Johnny Avila. Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr. on row number 2, Hunter Waters and Troy Haight on row 3. Max Williams and AJ Digby will occupy the 4th row for tonight's start. Corey Silva and Brad Allison will duel side by side from row 5. Tyler Seville and Mike McConville on row number 6. A little bit of a surprise there to see Seville starting back on the 6th row. Row 7 will have Canada's Richard Smith and Evan Black. Another Canuck, Tony Patton, starting 15th inside of row number 8. Lining up to his outside will be Scotty Grove. Ryan Nicoletta and Tim Knott on row number 9. Row 10 will have Rick Javorka and Corbin Simmons. Daniel Pinkston will tail the field. He got his wish. He is going to start from the back. The comment says, me and cold tires don't mix. If that's what your concern is, maybe starting at the back isn't necessarily the worst option. Plus, it kind of gives you some options in terms of strategy. You can really control your own pace a little bit.
Yeah, definitely if you're trying to just conserve tires, you can definitely start back there. I'm just afraid you're going to get laps outside. Really conserving that hard.
Yeah, you very well could. Pace car is getting ready to make its way in. Green flag will go in the air. And as always, race fans, the start of this one is going to be all yours. Everybody got to play nicely on lap number 1. Roger Rios will be your race leader as they head back to turn 1 for the second time. No real surprise here, Patrick. You have to get in line at least through the middle of 1 and 2. And that turn 2 exit is very, very short.
Now I forget, is it turn 2 or turn 4 the Titans?
It's turn 2. It used to be turn 4 before they flipped the racetrack and put the grandstands on what is originally the backstretch side.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lake behind that corner, so they couldn't make it perfectly round like they wanted to. They had to cut that track in, make it tighten real hard, and it's really difficult to get through there without hitting the wall.
Yes, it is. A minnow pond laying just off the backside of what is now turn 4. Roger Rios already checking out here and seeing an early issue for Rick Javorka. Let's take a look at the Hot Shoe Raceway instant replay. Oh, he got the stripe and more. How did he not hit anybody? Good Lord, slides it down to the inside. He'll get the car rolling again, make his way back toward the pit lane. We'll pick up a battle here a little bit further towards the back of the pack. Max Williams, AJ Digby, Brad Allison on the left-hand side of your screen. The right-hand side, the leaders up for at least most of the night here. Digby can have the look inside of Max Williams. That's sort of what you talked about, Patrick. You have to get the great run off the corner to really get the pass completed. Plus, it kind of has the added benefit of it forces the car you're passing to check up a little bit. It allows you to open up a little bit of space before you get to the next corner.
They don't have to check up. If they want to make it out of the corner without contact, they probably should. But we get down to the last 2-3 laps of this race. Someone goes to make a move. I don't expect to see any checking up. I believe we'll see another Rick Craven and Kurt Busch kind of scenario.
Nikki Worsler checking in the comments. Let's go WWR. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, Miss Nikki. We appreciate that. Fastest lap of the race right now belongs to your race leader, Roger Rios. Lap time of 29.582 seconds. Already about 0.3 of a second slow, and we're only 8 laps in here. We're going to have Brad Allison on about taking the peak off at 2 on Max Waters. He'll have to stop in line. May actually end up having to fight Mike McConville here as well. That, Patrick, is really one of the dangers of if you try to start the pass, you almost have to get it completed. Otherwise, it's going to back you up to the car that's chasing you, and then you've got to go hunting down these guys at the front all over again.
Yeah, just like a dirt track, you have to stay committed. If you go for the pass, you got to stay in it and try and complete the pass. Otherwise, you're going to end up hitting them, or you're going to hit the wall because you had to jump up on the brakes, you're in the wrong line, and entering the corner way too fast. So, it's really a full send kind of track, and that's why everyone loves Darlington so much.
How about it? Battle for the race leads been side by side for about a lap and a half. Finally, Johnny Avila going to be able to complete the pass through the middle of 3 and 4. At the start-finish line, new race leader Johnny Avila, Kevin Dick getting caught right back up there as well. Andrew Moore sitting about 0.8 of a second behind Kevin Dick. This is really where the tire strategy can start to come into play. All you have to do is keep the leaders in sight. You don't have to run with them. You don't have to battle them. You just have to kind of hang out in the vicinity. sometimes that can be enough to save you the 3 or 4 laps you need on a set of tires.
Yeah, just hang out there, intimidate them a little bit, get inside their head and let them make the mistake. Don't push yourself to destroy your tires. Let them do it for you.
Battle is the closest one on the racetrack right now. Slide back will win this fight as well here with Max Williams on the right-hand side of the screen. Williams has Tyler Seville starting to close in. Williams has lost 4 spots from the drop of the green flag. Seville down 1. But as a testament to your comments about the difficulties of passing here, Patrick, current hard charger Silva +2.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I know we're only on lap 14, but you go to a track like Bristol, Dover, Daytona, and Talladega especially. Within the first 15 laps, you already have a guy who's probably passed 10, 15 cars. You know, someone real good started in the back. Here at Darlington, you're lucky if you're passing 1 or 2. Especially by lap 30 or 40, you might have only gotten 4 cars. So qualifying is incredibly important, and being able to pick them off and knowing how to do it and when is also really important.
That's a great point on the timing of things. That is perhaps the most important thing that you're going to deal with here. Yeah, you can get to somebody, you know, the old adage, catching somebody's one thing, passing them's a different story. But even timing when you want to make that pass, that part's really important as well. Yeah, you want to make the pass, especially late in the race, where they don't have as much time to fight back as well. Here at Darlington, sometimes that can be a last lap pass or even a turn 4 pass, as we saw with Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. But a lot of times that's going to involve contact, and you don't want to have the passee, I should say, the guy getting past. You don't want to give him a shot to find your bumper like you might have found his.
Yeah, you really got to time out your moves. You got to think about what you're doing. It's not like Bristol or Martinsville where you just give the guy a shot and run away from him. As you can see, Johnny Avila, he said this is one of his favorite tracks, and this is kind of unlike him. He's not running away.
Well, you almost wonder if that's a tire management strategy. Kind of the same deal as what we were talking about with Andrew Moore Jr. You don't have to run away from them. You kind of just have to be close-ish to them. Then hard to get around you, as opposed to you working hard to try to run away and hide somewhere. Already approaching the end of stage number 1, and the race leaders approaching lap traffic. Rick Javorka, Corbin Simmons have already gone a lap down. Daniel Pinkston and Richard Smith will be next up on the list. If you're Daniel Pinkston, where you are is good, but it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world to go a lap down, unless John Deville is able to pick off Richard Smith at the same time.
Yeah, a lucky dog is really a very, very lucky thing to get. Because it offers you a chance to come down and get a free set of tires and a free pit stop. Because no matter if you take that pit stop or not, you're going to be the last car in the lead lap. So, really, it gives you a chance to run in the box and grab a set. Except tonight, because you only have 2 sets in the box. So you still have to keep a little bit of strategy when you take it.
Richard Smith picking up the Darlington stripe there through 3 and 4 as Johnny Avila is able to come past. It's down to 4 laps to go here in stage number 1. Kevin Dick, Andrew Moore, both able to get past. Johnny Avila still holding off Roger Rios by about a car length and a half, this time off of 4. And this is a big deal for these guys to pick up the bonus points that come at the stage break. Roger Rios currently sitting 4th in the point standings, 42 back of the points leader, Johnny Avila. But he's only 5 back of Tyler Smith and 35 back of Kevin Dick. If those guys are going to be earning stage points, you have to be earning more than they do. Pick up Max Williams and Mike McConville as race leader Johnny Avila will have 1 lap to go here in tonight's first stage. Sliding a little bit further forward, Tyler Seville going to have Evan Black all over his deck lid. Looks like Johnny Avila will go unchallenged through turns 3 and 4. Green and white checkered flag will go in the air this time, and Johnny Avila wins stage 1 at Darlington. Roger Rios, Kevin Dick, Andrew Moore, Hunter Waters, your top 5. And we would expect to see the caution any moment now. 6 through 10, Troy Haight, Corey Silva, AJ Digby, Brad Allison, and Tyler Seville. And there you go. Caution flag number 1 is on the racetrack. This was interesting to watch here, Patrick, because they got single file. We saw some little bit of good racing. But this basically second half, if you want to call it that, of the race, stage 2, stage 3, with the talent level we see here, we could see this thing go green the rest of the way.
I don't doubt that'll happen. However, I can see these guys getting a little rowdy, a little impatient, especially as these tires start to wear. And I'm curious to see who decides to take tires and who doesn't now.
I think it's a very interesting call, and it looks like a lot of the leaders are going to be coming down pit lane. Johnny Avila will lead the crew on the pit lane. Roger Rios, Kevin Dick, Andrew Moore, Hunter Waters, Troy Haight, Corey Silva all coming down. AJ Digby and Brad Allison elect to stay out on the racetrack.
Now, is this a fuel-only stop, or is it a full service?
I think that's a great question here as we pick up your race leaders on the right-hand side of the screen in the very, very long Darlington pit lane. Oh, Johnny Avila missed his just a little bit. Oh, he still missed it. The crew still not working. They're finally getting around to get the right side of the 63 up in the air. Johnny Avila will not win the race off pit road this time.
He had such a huge gap coming into the pits, too.
Big mistake there from the 63 of Johnny Avila. Kevin Dick, Roger Rios, Tyler Seville, Andrew Moore, Richard Smith, and Hunter Waters all beating Johnny Avila off pit lane. Some of our other cars that were I guess they were tail end of the lead last year. Evan Black coming down pit lane, as is Max Williams, Corey Silva, Tim Knott, Ryan Nicoletta, and Mike McConville. Lights are out. No, we got one more lap here. Let's see if we can't find AJ Digby. Get him up in for an interview here. AJ, Chris Graham here in the NRN booth. And I'll tell you what, bud, I like the call here of staying out. Is this a strategy long game, or what are you thinking there?
Yeah, a little bit of strategy long game, and I thought about it before the race as well. So that whole first stint, I mean, I'm not good at all at Darlington. Let's get that straight. But that whole first stint, I was going as easy as I could on the tires. Felt like 25 laps isn't a ton, and with only 2 sets of tires on pit road, I just really wanted to baby that first stint, that first set, and then we'll see what happens with this set, especially with a bunch of people with new tires behind me. But I know I'm not the only one who's on the older tires. And we'll see how this plays out. Right now I still have 2 in the bank, which could come in handy depending on how cautions play out, or later in the race. I mean, if we get a 20 lap run and then there's a caution, it could really help me in the end, because then I can take it there and then also still have one for later in the race. So we'll see how it plays out in the end. If this thing goes green the entire way, it might not work out, but I'm not in a 25 laps, and I was really babying them that first stint. So we'll see what happens. Just got to keep this thing straight. Like I said, I'm not the best at Darlington at all, so I'm just trying to keep the car straight and in one piece here on this restart, and we'll see what happens from there.
All right, bud, good luck the rest of the way here. Thank you very much for checking in with us here. We'll get you back down to the Will Worsler Racing team. And yeah, it's like you said there, Patrick. It's a good strategy gamble to take at this point in the race, but it is most certainly not a guarantee of potential success.
Yeah, especially with guys being on new tires behind you, with how quickly this track eats up tires, I'm not surprised if he gets eaten up here shortly. Let's see how good he is at holding them off, though.
Tell you what, if he's able to, that is a huge win. Even if he can keep the car basically up inside the top 5, that would be almost as good as the win. Just in terms of how the pit cycle plays out here. AJ Digby, check it out a little bit. We've got chaos starting to happen here towards the back of the pack. Roger Rios down to the inside of Tyler Seville. Andrew Moore Jr. trying to come with him. Position. Going to be a lot of work there for the 63 to catch up. Going to work on the Pickle Man, the 7 of Hunter Waters. Avila able to make that pass. Quite frankly, made it look pretty easy. The entry is that's sort of what you talked about though with the slide job. You do it right, you can kick off and pass a bunch of cars here quick. The only problem is that is a lot of sliding around on the tires that you may only have one setup left.
Yeah, however, if you can get back up to the front, get yourself in clean air. Oh, you're not going to do it that way, though. That's for sure. But if you can get yourself up front, stay in clean air, you're going to wear the tires a hell of a lot less than you are following other cars. So I think he's played his cards, he made the mistake. He's kind of got to sit where he's at and slowly pick him off now instead of running through the field like he was.
Take a look here at the Oxygen Raceway instant replay into turn 3. Kevin Dick down to the inside of AJ Digby. He'll be your new race leader. Roger Rios going to come past as well. Digby has already fallen back to the 4th position. But again, as we put the miles on these tires, they're going to start to level out between what drivers that stopped have versus what AJ has and not having made a pit stop yet. is now able to get around Digby. Oh, man. He absolutely pounds the outside wall. But that was the type of contact we were talking about. If we can get away with it. Oh, caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Looks like Ryan Nicoletta having an issue. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Raceway instant replay. Car got a little bit twitchy. May have touched Mike McConville, but man, huge hit. Wow, how did nobody hit him there? That was 4 or 5 cars, all managing to miss Ryan Nicoletta. The interesting thing here, Patrick, with the caution coming at lap number 38, you kind of need to get to 40 and change to make it a true 2-stop race. And you really don't even necessarily have that option if you're trying to hold on to a set of tires for late in this one. AJ Digby might be a little bit stuck with what he has right now.
I would say as long as he can keep it on the lead lap, he should be golden. As long as we get some late race cautions where he's able to kind of come out on top of the strategy. If we don't get any more cautions, he's going to have to pit sometime under green and then pit again sometime under green just to take that extra set of tires. So in that case, it doesn't really work out for him.
Well, you almost wonder, though, now with us having had 2 cautions already, he's probably now, at least I would think anyway, good to make it to halfway on fuel. Could a one-stop strategy even become a thing at that point then?
It could, but I don't see that being useful.
It won't be fast by any stretch, but it will give you less time on pit lane, especially if we get the long run.
I will say, if you're not good at Darlington, you know you're not going to be able to pass cars. And you know you're going to get past. I would say that one stop is not a terrible idea, just because on strategy, that at least gives you a couple of spots you make up in the pit lane. So that might be a damage control strategy, if anything.
Well, and AJ did say Darlington is not necessarily his best racetrack, so could be the interesting play there. And the more you kind of think about it, if you get to halfway, that guarantees you the ability to save a set of tires. And maybe if you're down to 3, 4, 5 cars on the lead lap, now all of a sudden on a late race caution, you got fresh sneakers and everybody else is out of tires in their boxes.
The only thing with that is you have to know how to pass cars here. Fresh set of tires can only do you so much good if you're stuck going as fast as the guy in front of you.
That's a great point. If you're not able to get by them organically, it really doesn't matter how good your tires are. You're going to be stuck running with who you're running with. Should get the 1-to-go signal this next time by. See if we can't sneak a quick word in here with our race leader. Kevin Dick having a very nice run here up to the front of the field, +2. Kevin, real quick before we get back to green, how's the car feel and how do you think strategy's playing out for you to this point?
Tires, but once they come up to temp, it feels pretty good. Strategy-wise, I think we're all right. We're just got a limited amount of tires, so got to be smart with what we're doing tires-wise. So I think we're just gonna run these tires as through the fuel run and hope we got that extra set that it can hold on for the end of the race there.
All right, bud, sounds good. Which team am I dragging you back to, by the way?
Pie-eyed.
That's what I thought. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. There is Kevin Dick, your race leader. Yes, basically, run this set of tires out to the fuel stop and hope you can have the good ones for late in the race. It's going to be interesting to watch for sure. Pace car is in. Pace truck is in. Fields off at turn 4. What the heck? Let's give you a shot to crank it up here. Benefit the most was Johnny Avila, and he made the most of it. Clears Roger Rios off of turn number 4, put Johnny Avila back up to position number 2. He'll start trying to chase down Kevin Dick. How about it? AJ Digby still hasn't made a stop yet. Oh, hold on to it. What a save, Johnny Avila.
I'm going to have to watch that again. I don't believe he saved that.
Yeah, we're going to watch that one again. Way loose off the corner. He was
and he didn't hit anything.
Yeah, he just managed not to finish it. That was impressive.
You ever know I never. Wow.
Oh, there's almost contact.
Yeah,
he almost got hit again. That was Tony Patton bouncing it off the outside safer barrier. Good Lord, Johnny Avila. He is in the middle of a hornet's nest right now. Let's slide back, pick up Tony Patton. He's going to war with Max Williams. And already 15 laps away from the end of stage number 2. However, stage 2 will not have a caution flag. And I'll tell you what, this has really changed the complexion of this race towards the front of the field here. Kevin Dick was gonna have to contend with Johnny Avila. Now Avila back to the 4th position, but he has to go on the hunt again, coming past Kevin Waters. This really gives guys like Dick Rios and more the chance to just kind of settle in, log a bunch of laps, and hopefully start to stretch this out into a big fuel run.
I don't think so. Murphy's Law says anytime you're hoping the race goes green for a while, it's going to be caution after caution. And then anytime you hope for a caution, it's going to go green for a while. Either that or you will be the caution.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what AJ Digby is feeling right now. He's got Evan Black catching up very, very quickly in the 92 machine. Digby, the only car that hasn't changed tires yet.
Digby can be our guinea pig, though. We can see how this car is going to handle after 50, 60 laps tires, and everyone is going to have their eyes on him to see how this car is doing after 60 laps, kind of determine when their last pit stop's going to be.
Well, and that really puts an advantage in Will Worsler Racing's camp because they're sharing a Discord server with AJ Digby. So he'll be able to share some information to the team. Everybody else is kind of going to have to do it either off of a spotter checking data or trying to manage things off the relative and some of the black boxes that are available in car. That's not an easy thing to do.
No, just like texting and driving, that usually ends up with you hitting something.
And at Darlington, you don't hit something little.
No, usually first you hit the wall pretty hard, and then you hit the other wall pretty hard, if you weren't hit by a bunch of other cars really hard.
Checking out the 28 of Troy Haight trying to get past Max Williams. He's going to have Scotty Grove now peeking to his inside in a very cool Petty-esque throwback on the number 55. And at this point, really not much going on at the battle for the lead. Oh, man, they're almost beating and banging back here, though. Brad Allison got a little bit of left side loving from Tony Patton in the exit of the corner. Down to 74 laps to go, and we are pretty much officially in you can make it from here territory. The window is open. The big question, though, is can anybody really afford to take it this early? That's really where the strategy that AJ Digby's on, in fact, can really come back to bite you a little bit, because everybody else is going to be able to run a little bit shorter stint, in fact, about the same stint as you are for the second half of the race.
Except they're going to have fresh tires for more of it.
Eight can have the look down to the inside. Man, that is exactly as you talked about earlier in the race. Get the great run off the corner. Evan Black bounces it off the outside safer barrier. Scotty Grove comes past. Max Williams now tailing right in behind. And again, this little pack of cars here is the best battle on the racetrack right now. Everybody deeper in the pack, anywhere from a second to maybe 3/4 of a second separating those cars. At the front of the field, it's about 6/10 separating Kevin Dick from Roger Rios. Everybody else is kind of in that 1 second or so gap. As you see that on the relative, Patrick, does that sort of settle your mind in, knowing this is probably going to be a long run unless there's a one-car mistake?
Not really, because you still have to worry about 20 or so cars not being that one car mistake. It's not like Daytona or Talladega where you don't have to worry about the one car mistakes, because if it's a one car mistake, it's going to take out half the field. This is every single lap, everyone's on the edge, and anyone could make a mistake at any moment kind of track. So the lady in black is always kind of hiding that yellow flag behind her back just to throw it right when you don't want it.
Race leaders making their way around. It is now 69 laps to go here at the Darlington Raceway. Lap number 57 is on the scoreboard. When they get to lap 60, the completion of lap 60, we'll award the second set of stage points, and it will be 65 laps to go. AJ Digby holding on for dear life. Scotty Grove able to get to the inside and pass through 3 and 4. Battle starting to heat up here for the second position, and take a look here. Let's go on board with Andrew Moore Jr. It's interesting to hear the throttle modulation. You never really get to full throttle until you're completely off the corner.
Yeah, and that's a big reason why I say Darlington is just like a dirt track. No, you're not sliding the car. No, you're not on dirt. But the way you drive it is very similar. You're modulating the throttle the whole time. The way you gotta pass is very similar. It's a very old school style of track and a very old school style of driving.
Green and white checkered flag is in the air. Kevin Dick going to pick up the win here in stage number 2. Roger Rios, Andrew Moore, Johnny Avila, Hunter Waters, your top 5. Slide back a little bit here. Pick up Brad Allison as he is alongside of Evan Black. Allison will get the pass completed. Have a couple of movers and shakers here now to this point. Scotty Grove is up 9 to run in the 7th position. Tim Knott up 4, running in the 14th position this evening. Only a couple of cars that have really had big problems. Mac Williams is down 7. Corey Silva is down 7. Just had the green and white checkered flag. Now we're going to have the cross flags up here at the start finish line. 63 down, 63 laps to go. Brad Allison tried to take a look to the outside there on Digby. But for AJ Digby, you're kind of getting to the end of the run here, though. At this point now, you know you're coming for a set of tires soon. You really can sort of make your own call at this point of when you're going to come down. You know you're going to lose a lap.
See,
but it really puts things in your hands, though.
Earlier this week at Talladega, I would say it's a whole betting table. I would say the same thing right now. I would bet that AJ Digby is going to be the next caution. Not because I don't like the guy, not anything like that. It's because I believe in Murphy's Law. And right now he is sitting in that car hoping, I need a caution. I need a caution. I need to come down pit road and get some tires on this car. And Murphy's Law is always right there just to bite you in the behind.
Seeing that Will Worsler and Richard Fletcher were checking in the comments here just a little bit ago. Thank you very much, both you gentlemen, for checking in. Will, a little bit under the weather tonight. Feel well, bud? Hopefully we get to see you here in a couple of weeks. As the Sim Racers Club is off next Wednesday night. In fact, not much going on in the way of broadcast mediocrity here on the National Racing Network. The Fuel Premier Series is off on Monday. Sim Racers Club off on Tuesday. We'll be back Thursday night with the Ezra IndyCar Series and the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, closing out their season. I can't believe 2022 Season 2 is already over. That race will be coming up from Watkins Glen. Take the primary camera here. We're going to put this one back towards the head of the field as things are starting to get a little bit interesting here. Andrew Moore has a half second over Roger Rios. But Johnny Avila is right on the back end of Rios. That is second, third, and fourth on the racetrack. 3 1/3 seconds the gap right now to race leader Kevin Dick. Right-hand side of the screen, we'll have up the battle between Tyler Seville and Evan Black. Andrew Moore absolutely checking out on this battle now. Tyler Seville having a little bit of a bobble there, allowing Digby and Evan Black to both come past. Seville back there in the 12th position. Very un-Tyler Seville kind of night here at Darlington. Right-hand side of the screen, we'll keep our eye on A.J. Digby to see when he's going to come into the pits, and it will be this time. Gets the car woed up to the pit lane. Speed limit, he's going to bring Tyler Seville with him. Corbin Simmons, Rick Javorka, all on pit lane now as well. Question becomes, Patrick, do you have to worry about the undercut if you're one of the leaders? Or were these guys far enough back that even if they gain a bunch of time, they're still not really going to have caught up to you?
I would say if you're one of these leaders, you're not worried about the undercut. You've been up front all day. You know what you're doing. If someone does get around you with the undercut, you're going to pass them. You're not worried about it.
Crew finishing up their work on the left-hand side for A.J. Digby. Ford Fresh Goodyear Racing Eagle tires. 2 cans Sunoco fuel. He is down and away 14.85 seconds. This is where the real world pit reporter says he was screaming, "Give me tires, give me tires."
I'm pulling in this box and I am not leaving until you put a set of tires on this car.
Seeing Tim not making his way down the pit lane. But again, all these pit stops coming towards the back half of the field, so not a ton to be gained here by any of these drivers just yet. The lap time's really starting to get pretty far up there. Race leader Kevin Dick last time by 30.83, 30.87 now as he comes by this time. Best lap of the race, 29.58. He is almost a second and a half slower than his best race pace of the night. And everybody gets back on track cleanly. Do you almost plan your late race strategy if you're one of these guys that has to stop again, just on the concept of it's a 20-lap cliff or a 25-lap cliff, I'm going to push this as far as I can go? Or do you try to get a number in your head?
You might. On the other hand, you might say this car is getting completely undrivable. I don't care what the strategy is. Me pitting now is going to be better than me putting it in the wall, especially at a track like Darlington. This track can flip on you so quickly. It can go from manageable to the next lap. The car is straight up undrivable with how quickly this thing eats tires.
Yeah, and the other part of the issue is if you come into pit, that does put you in the Paul Tracy danger zone. You're going to go a lap down in the process of coming down pit lane. If you know that that's what's going to happen. In fact, Tyler Seville and A.J. Digby losing 2 laps making that pit stop. The short stop is not necessarily always the way to go, especially at a place where you're going to lose more than 1 lap.
Yeah, I would say to only take the short stop if the caution comes out. The leaders all don't pit, you're sitting in 10th, then you're going to lose 5 spots if you do pit. At that point, just drop in and grab that set of tires. But really, it's not a good idea most of the time, under green flag conditions at least. In oval racing. In road course racing,
road course racing, different world. But it's interesting here. Tim Knott significantly quicker than race leader Kevin Dick. That was the 8 of Max Williams. Oh, hold on to it, bud. He was able to clear the race leader, but the bobble off at turn 4. Oh man, that big Darlington stripe on the side of that number 8 machine now. Just what you want to be doing as a race leader on junk old tires. Racing lap traffic.
Yeah, and I know some people disagree with me, but if I was getting ready to go a lap down, I'd fight the leader. My standard is always fight the leader and then let everyone else go by. Because you don't want to go that lap down. But as soon as you're a lap down, you gain nothing by fighting the rest of those guys except losing yourself even more time. So, sorry to all those guys who lead races that I race aggressively, but that's just how it is. You're the leader, you should be able to pass me.
Well, that's it. It's not like you're talking about a battle for 13th or 14th. This is going a lap down or not going a lap down.
Exactly.
And even potentially unlapping yourself, as we're seeing Tyler Seville do here on Kevin Dick. That's going to put Seville only 1 lap down. He's not quite the lucky dog yet, but he's getting close.
It's just like in Mario Kart, man. You're the leader. You're way out in front of everyone else. You're getting the blue shell. And that's just how it is. If you don't want to get the blue shell, you shouldn't be leading the race.
Jar Jar Binks and the blue shell in Mario Kart.
I'm on a roll tonight.
You really are. Where that roll is going makes me question a little bit.
There's still 40 laps left in this one.
Let's slide back in the pack a little bit here. We'll pick up Scotty Grove and Troy Haight. They are working at nose to tail in the battle for the 6th position. And actually, Hunter Waters is going to be right there as well as they continue to work their way through the lap traffic. You've done 56 laps on this set of tires. You have 42 laps to go. I'm guessing now the question becomes, when do you make that last stop?
You know, frankly, I'm not sure.
It's a tough question because you want to try to run it until you don't need the fuel. You want to have fresh tires for as long as possible. But if you're these race leaders, you've only got about 13 more laps left to go anyway.
I'm going to say we leave that question open to the drivers. Let them show us what they've got and see who comes out with checkered flag in hand.
As a reminder, once again, the Sim Racers Club is off next week. They will return June 8th at the Kansas Speedway Oval. And that will be the halfway point of season number 1. Finishing up August 10th at the Pocono Raceway, and then we're going to get ready for 2022 Season 2, at which point we will crown our 2nd and 3rd champions of the year. We'll have a Season 1 champ, a Season 2 champ, and then an overall champion as well. The entirety of your top 5 has now run 60 laps on this set of Goodyear Racing Eagles. That's a long time at Darlington, man. Even if you go the next 10, you're still going to have about 27 laps to go. Now, the flip side of the coin is once Kevin Dick decides to pit, does everybody else have to basically come in to protect themselves?
Not necessarily. If nobody else comes in, he might be trapped a lap down. I don't want to say definitely, but he might. Now on the flip side, if you don't pit right when he pits, he's going to have the undercut on you. But that's only if he takes tires. So that again is a very, very hard call to make. This race has turned into an incredible strategy race with so many different ways to play it that you can't make the definitive.
Is a two-tire stop even a possibility here?
I've never driven the next-gen car taking a two-tire stop, so I can't put my own personal comments into it. However, I can say with the Gen 6 car, it made the car very, very hard to drive and very unpredictable. So, with how new this car is, and I don't know if any of these drivers have tried it yet, I don't know if Darlington's the track I would want to test it out.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Gen 6 cars were very tough. And quite frankly, I found impossible to drive on a two-tire stop. However, the 87 cars, you could run an entire race, a full distance race on the left-hand side tires of those cars. You really only ever needed to change the right. So it's kind of interesting how these are going to shake up. And we're seeing cars come down pit lane. Roger Rios going to be the first of your leaders to make his way in for pit service. Final stops of the race getting underway, and now it's going to be Andrew Moore Jr., your race leader, making his way down the pit lane. Hunter Waters trying to get that car woed up. Let's pick up Andrew Moore Jr., your race leader. Follow Kevin Dick down in for his final pit stop of the night. This one coming with 33 laps to go. Now Andrew Moore going to make his way in as well. A little bit of monkey see, monkey do. Everybody coming down pit lane right around the same time as your race leaders did. Troy Haight will stay out on the racetrack. Not a bad strategy, quite frankly, if you're running a little bit back in the pack. Stay out an extra couple of laps, hope you get the caution, and hope it's not you.
Yeah, cold tires can be a handle. And especially another thing of Murphy's Law, when you don't want the caution, it'll probably be you once again. That guy Murphy, he just likes to step up behind you and whack you.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. So let's pick up our race leader here, Troy Haight. We'll see when he's going to come down pit lane. Mike McConville now up to the second position. Brad Allison is on his way in. Troy Haight coming this time. Working lap number 95. This is such a tricky pit entry to get into. The commitment line is very early, and the timing line starts basically right at the very, very entrance of pit road. This is, quite frankly, the difficult part here for Mike McConville, who is now the race leader. Even if he gets the caution flag to pit, he's almost going to need it to happen as he's on pit lane, because he is not yet a full lap ahead of, and will not be a full lap ahead of, Kevin Dick and Johnny Avila.
The luckiest you can ever get when pitting is right after you pass that green cone, the caution comes out and locks the field down where they are.
The effective battle for the race lead. It is currently the fight for third. Johnny Avila to the outside. Kevin Dick on the inside of the racetrack. Avila got a
and neither of them are
run.
giving an inch.
No, they're not. Boys, there's still 28 laps to go. But you're on fresher tires. I'll take my chances while I got the fresh rubber on early.
Now, Johnny Avila did pancake the side of that car just a touch, but it doesn't look like it's slowing him down very much as he's got the run coming in the 3 and trying to make it stick on the high side.
That
Gets it done!
Tight. What a pass, Johnny Avila. Last time we said that, he almost wadded the thing up off the next corner. And they're catching lap traffic at a kind of inopportune time here. Tim Knott in the 41 slides down to the bottom of the racetrack. As Tony Patton stays out of the way as well. So your race leaders will continue to battle here. Right-hand side of your screen has race leader Mike McConville down to 25 laps to go. The gap was 11.5 seconds. Well, quite frankly, just a couple of seconds ago. Now already down to 10.5 seconds over Johnny Avila. They are eating into McConville's lead in a big, big way. Plus, this is sort of taking that late race caution and getting tires thing out the window, because we still have 13 cars on the lead lap. That's a lot of race cars to have to pass in just a handful of laps.
Yeah, 25 laps to go here. In the first 15 laps this race, our hard charger had made 2 spots up. So it's at the point where I don't even know if it's possible.
No, I don't. Things don't look good for Mike McConville right now. We'll see basically where he's going to slot in. This is where I would say if you're going to play that strategy of hot lap the tires as much as you can, then you're going to stay out on the racetrack. I mean, McConville still has another 5 to 6 laps that he should be able to go before he has to come in for tires. Have some pretty cool stuff coming up here on the National Racing Network YouTube channel. First video will be going up tomorrow in a historical look series at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and all of the great traditions of the Indy 500. Tomorrow's video will be the record-breaking 2022 month of May to this point. Have a couple other videos that'll be up over the next couple of weeks or so. One on Cyrus Patchke, a guy who has a win, 2 top 5s in 1 appearance and no starts at the Brickyard. A fantastic story there. One on Jigger Saras, perhaps one of the unluckiest guys in the history of the Speedway, and how he was able to take the bad luck and make something cool out of it. Keep your eye out for those, and we'll also have the Indy 500 preview edition of the Pizza at the Pagoda podcast, dropping tomorrow on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Down to 20 to go here at Darlington. Not a bad way to kick things off here towards this weekend, Patrick. Racing at Darlington tonight, the Lady in Black, a lot of history here. Tomorrow night, we'll have the Ezra IndyCar Series and the Indy Pro 2000 Championship at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Friday night, it's the Carb Night Classic, weather permitting anyway. Saturday, the Little 500. And then Sunday, Monaco in the morning. The greatest spectacle in racing around midday. And we kick things and round out the night, I should say, with the Coke 600 at Charlotte. I love this weekend.
I say they should put the Concorde back in the air just for this weekend. I want to see a driver race at Monaco, hop on the Concorde, fly to Indy, race the 500, and then fly it down to Charlotte and run the 600. And if you can win all three, wow, that'd be amazing.
You know what? I would be willing to insure that as a billion-dollar payday. Because it is not possible to make it from Monaco to Indianapolis in time for the race. At least the way that the clocks work and all.
Maybe not the Concorde. Maybe we need Elon Musk to make us like a teleportation device.
You know what? When he gets Starship and super heavy flying, it could become a possibility.
Hell yeah.
If you can go from New York to Beijing in 30 minutes, you could probably make it from the harbors of Monte Carlo to Indianapolis, Indiana in that time span as well.
I was going to say, what is it, a 30-minute drive from Monaco to the airport in Nice? Just take the F1 car.
You got to launch from the water. That's actually the only problem with you taking it to Indy, too. Not many people want that thing landing in their backyard. How about the battle for the race lead here, Patrick? Johnny Avila, Kevin Dick, 16 laps to go, and they are nose to tail.
Still an impressive battle. And I wouldn't be surprised if it heats up a little more by the end.
Yeah, I have to agree with you here as we are down to 15 laps to go. Avila has been very quick, looking for his third consecutive win here in Sim Racers Club action. 2 weeks ago at Martinsville Speedway, last week at Dover, trying to fill the off weeks, fill the gap between off weeks with race wins. In fact, at this point, Johnny Avila has not lost a race since the month of April. Kevin Dick will not go quietly into that good night, however. Still sitting about 2/10. Car length and a half, maybe? Oh, the car length and a half as they're halfway down the back stretch with 13 to go. Getting word from race control that Andrew Moore Jr. missed pit entry his first time trying to come into the pits. That's what has him 7 1/3 seconds back.
Oh, man.
Also hearing that Kevin Dick may have smacked the wall pretty good at some point as well. So both Kevin Dick and Johnny Avila could be driving at least slightly wounded race cars.
As Kevin Dick is right there on the rear bumper entering turn 1.
Who's it going to be, race fans? Leave it in the comments. Is it Johnny Avila? Is it Kevin Dick? The battle of Will Worsler Racing versus Pie-Eyed Racing.
Oh, man. Avila bounced off the wall in the mid-quarter. He's going to lose a little bit, but he's got the preferred line coming back into 1. Pinches Kevin Dick just a little bit entering, and it's going to work out for him pretty well.
I tell you what, we're down to 9 to go. If we get a caution, Do not count out Andrew Moore Jr. at this point. He is turning some absolutely monster laps right now. He's just taken a full second off the gap to Avila, and Kevin Dick here running 1-2 with 8 to go. As we cross the stripe and hit 7 to go, Patrick, you almost wonder here, does Kevin Dick have to think about backing off a little bit, cooling the tires down, and then making another run at Johnny Avila?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just settle in. You've made your point. You've shown you can get up to him. You've gotten Johnny Avila's head now. Now, I'm not sure his head is really very penetrable. That man is a grandmaster of chess when it comes to these races. However, you're there now. So you got to sit back, wait for that white flag to come out, and then you got to jump up and strike. The white flag's going to come out. He's going to be looking in the rearview mirror going, okay, he's back there. He's just a 10th back. He's right in the rear bumper. Only 2 turns left to go. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. And that whole time, you want to be sitting there forcing him to make that mistake and mess up.
Only other battle on the racetrack right now. Pick this one up here. It will be Scotty Grove and Troy Haight. They are fighting for the 6th position, but not much even of a battle there. Call it 2.5 car lengths or so. The gap has opened up a little bit here. Kevin Dick falling about 1/3 of a second back. But if he's trying that tire cooling thought process, we could be in for an absolute barn burner. Oh, we've got one car going around. We'll see if it'll bring out a caution flag. We're down to 3 to go. As of now, we stay green. And Johnny Avila has really opened up the gap on Kevin Dick. How about 4 seconds the race lead now?
Throw the caution! Stack them all back up together. Come on!
White flag is out, 1 lap to go here at the Darlington Raceway. The lead 4 seconds and counting for Johnny Avila over Kevin Dick. What looked like a good battle shaping up was Johnny Avila teasing us. He decided it was time to unload the cork, and he will be spraying champagne here in just a moment. Checkered flag is in the air. Mr. May does it again. Johnny Avila back-to-back wins in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series.
I would like to say you've got Monaco's too stuck in your head. They don't spray champagne in NASCAR, especially down south here in Darlington. They spray moonshine.
Can you carbonate moonshine?
You can carbonate anything. You seen those things they sell at Kmart?
I would say it's a waste of good hooch, but that's just me. Fantastic drive here tonight from Johnny Avila. kept the car where it needed to be, near the front all night long. And the Will Worsler Racing team will get to burn them down here on the front straightaway. Look at that. Even pulls up nice to the camera for the picture.
And he showed us the nice side of the car, too. Don't pay attention to that passenger side. Or dude, that's a Darlington stripe, baby.
I was going to say, that looks like a well-worn Darlington race car right there.
Ah, he just got another one right there.
Let's show you the race results while Avila burns them down. Getting the win over Kevin Dick, as we mentioned, by 4.4 seconds. Andrew Moore coming home third. Roger Rios and Hunter Waters complete your top 5. Scotty Grove, Troy Haight, Tyler Seville, Brad Allison, and A.J. Digby back to the 10th position. Max Williams, Mike McConville, Tim Knott, Tony Patton, and Richard Smith back through the 15th position. 16-21 tonight, Daniel Pinkston, Rick Javorka, Corbin Simmons, Evan Black, Corey Silva, and Ryan Nicoletta. All in all, race that took about 1 hour and 9 minutes to complete. Only 2 caution flags on the course of the evening. One of those was for the stage break. A very impressive drive there. Oh, yeah, it was Kevin, hearing that Kevin was the one that lost it off at turn 4. Made a great save, able to come home in second. So we'll get our drivers here up into the room and ready to chat with us here. And we'll also get ready. We'll get the graphics ready to go here as well. Let's get ready to kick off our Victory Lane interviews tonight, and we will start them with your race winner here this evening. Mr. Johnny Avila, let's see, let's get him brought up into the room here with us. And man, I'll tell you what, Johnny, that drive was impressive. Did you breathe a little sigh of relief when you saw Kevin have the issue there late in that one?
Honestly, I'm still trying to catch my breath. I'm worn out. That was a heck of a battle. But
it was a wild show all the way around. Strategy where we thought might come into play sort of didn't. It was basically stop at 25, run it till you were out of fuel, and that was going to be the ball game. What's that like? I mean, your car has a Darlington stripe, a pretty big one for that matter. Seemed like everybody was in the fence at some point. Is Darlington on old tires one of the toughest things to do on the iRacing platform?
Yeah, I say so, especially the way this car was handling. In the middle, it had a really bad push, but as you could see on like corner exit, it was scary. So by yourself, it was I was just trying to survive. Every time I went to a corner, just a quick little prayer. But honestly, that battle with Kevin was intense. Like, I think at one point on the straightaway, I was putting myself in the wall just so I could squeeze to the outside of him before we got into the corner. So we were racing so close, but I don't think we even hit once, which is insane to race that hard and clean.
I was going to say, to do it that cleanly is really, really impressive. And you've now swept the month of May, picking up back-to-back-to-back wins at Martinsville, Dover, Darlington. Last week, you told us Dover and Darlington were two of your favorites. Is Kansas on that list as well, or do these guys, are they allowed to think they have a shot in a couple of weeks?
Well, I really like Kansas. I like a lot of tracks, to be honest, but I think I'm going to end up missing the Kansas race. I'm going to the cottage with my girlfriend, so it'd just be a nice little break.
Well, look at that. You're going to get 2 off weeks, a little bit of time away. It will close up the points, but I'll tell you what, you've got to feel really, really confident at this point. You entered the night with a 35-point lead over Kevin. You don't expand that lead by much, but you've been really strong the last few weeks, and the points will really sort of take care of themselves when you run up front like that.
Yeah, but Kevin is a heck of a driver, so I'm going to be expecting him to put up a fight like this all year long. Him and Andrew have shown crazy amount of speed ever since they joined this league, so hopefully we get more races and more finishes like this, because battling that hard is a lot of fun. I love it.
All right, bud. Well, before we let you go here, make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
I just got to thank Bulldog Roofworks, the admins up in the booth, my teammates especially. They made some interesting strategy calls, but in the end they still had pretty good races. Hunter got a top 5, which is nice considering what happened on Dover being a flying pickle. But also got to thank you guys up in the booth. It's going to be fun to watch this back.
Yes, you can say that one again. This was a fun one to bring to everybody. And Johnny, thank you so much for checking in with us here. Let's bring in our runner-up finisher here tonight, Mr. Kevin Dick. And I'll tell you what, Kevin, we talked to you a little bit earlier in the race. You didn't sound as confident as maybe I thought you might, but I'll tell you what, things certainly working out for you in the end there.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed towards the green flag pit stop. I'd gotten into the wall, and just after that, the car just wasn't quite the same. I sort of struggled getting by lap cars. That's sort of what really bit me. Otherwise, I probably would have had a little bit bigger lead there before those pit stops, and it wouldn't have really had to worry about Johnny there. Other than that, I mean, we had a heck of a battle. I mean, he got by me. My mistake there is probably giving him the top. If I probably could have held the top there, I don't think he probably would have got by me. And then just once that happened, I mean, it seemed like I could get a little bit better run off of 4 than what he did, but I just couldn't keep the momentum off the corner, and he would always prevail. So it was a real good race, though. Congrats to him. I mean, that's real fun. So hope we keep getting runs like this.
Talk us through the incident you had off at turn 4 with a couple of laps to go, or I'll say a handful of laps to go. That was save of the year nominee type stuff there. I don't know, quite frankly, I don't know how you saved that race car.
Just going for it. I mean, hold nothing back. Trying to get back by him or get up to him, or at least, make a move to try and attempt to get the win there. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was impressive, man. There is not a clean corner on that race car. It looks like you've run Darlington hard. Congratulations on the second place finish here tonight. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to the guys at Pie. Great group of guys to race with, real fun. Give a shout out to Jordan and Cousin Paints and Diecast, and to you guys up in the booth.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And let's bring in our third place finisher tonight here, Mr. Andrew Moore. And man, I'll tell you what, when you saw the relative start going a little bit wonky there, that Kevin was falling back to you, what was going through your head? Did you think you had a shot at second, or what was kind of the thought process there late in this one?
Well, I saw him, and he's my teammate, so I didn't want to say anything. I wanted him to gather himself back up.
I'll tell you what, it was a really nice run tonight. You have one of the cleaner cars. In fact, I don't even know that you have a Darlington stripe on the outside.
A couple of them.
Talk us through what a race here is like when you only have 2 sets of tires. And I mean, I asked this question of Johnny as well, but is driving a car at Darlington on absolute garbage tires the hardest thing to do in iRacing, or one of the hardest things to do?
you definitely have to recognize when you have too much heat in your tires and you're coming on the exits, or else you're probably going to hit the wall, or even on entry. You just got to recognize how hot your tires are in every lap.
Well, I'll tell you what, bud. Another fantastic run here. Probably going to move you up to third place in points here. Hearing that Johnny will not be here for the race at Kansas. What are your thoughts here now? This could very much put a championship within reach.
Absolutely. He's giving us a chance to catch up there, especially after last week for me. I had a rough start with Dover, and then I was just finally getting the hang of the track, and then I launched somebody over my hood. It was just a rough week last week.
Well, I'll tell you what, bud. Congratulations on a very nice third place finish here this evening. And yeah, we just saw that whole right side of that car is junked, just like everybody else's. I love seeing these cars after a run at Darlington.
Yep, she still drove good.
Well, congratulations on the third place finish here tonight. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Thanks to Pine iRacing, Jordan, my teammates, any friends or family that's watching, probably my brother. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, bud. Thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, that was fun. It's not often that you get to say. I'll say it this way: you see 125 laps at Darlington, and you go, "Oh man, this could be a long night." That was as clean of a race as you'll ever see at Darlington, and some really incredible racing towards the front of the field.
Not only that, it was fun. There wasn't a moment here where I was sitting going, oh my God, there's nothing to say. There's nothing going on the racetrack. There was something going on. There was always a strategy going on in the background, even if the leaders weren't fighting. This race had everything. It was perfect.
It really was. This was everything you could ask for in a race at the Lady in Black. The track too tough to tame. And I love Darlington. Wish we could see more series run this place. I love watching the Indy cars here. They are absolutely insane. So much fun stuff coming up here on the National Racing Network this week. Tomorrow, keep an eye out on the YouTube channel for the record-breaking month of May. That will be debuting, we'll say sometime tomorrow afternoon. Also, the Pizza at the Pagoda podcast. It's a monster marathon preview of the 106th running of the greatest spectacle in racing. Coming up tomorrow night, we should have the High Side Hustle at 7 p.m. Burt Wojcik, Adam Rubright, talking everything dirt racing as we head into a big Memorial Day weekend. Follow that up with the Ezra IndyCar Series and then the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, the PM18s at Indy. You do not want to miss this. The 10-15 split last night. Actually, I have to find this here real quick because the gaps from first to fifth was 0.182 seconds. You had the race winner, 0.031, 0.060, 0.079, 0.085, and then 0.182. That's the kind of racing you'll see. 4 and 5 wide open wheel cars at the Speedway. It's like running the Freedom 100 on iRacing. I absolutely cannot wait to broadcast that race coming up tomorrow night at 10:15 in the East. You don't want to miss it after some of the finishes we've had this season. And then it is time for the greatest weekend in motorsports. The Carb Night Classic on Friday night, the Little 500 at Anderson Speedway on Saturday. Then we'll have Monaco in the morning, Indianapolis midday, Charlotte at night. Oh, it's happy time for racing fans. So we're going to get out of here, get ready to go, and get ready to bring you all the excitement coming up this weekend. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these broadcasts happen, my name is Chris Graham. It has been a pleasure to have you hang out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.